Sanibonani babukeli emakhaya, I'm Leander Tsikedi and you are watching uMkhonto Wesizwe Updates channel. The Afriforum has approached the Constitutional Court to remove Dr. John Hlophe from the Judicial Service Commission and from Parliament. Dr. Hlophe was impeached earlier this year after being found guilty for gross misconduct for attempting to improperly influence two Constitutional Court justices in a case involving President Jacob Zuma in 2008. Afriforum CEO Kali Kriel spoke to Newsroom Africa, detailing the application to the Apex Court. Listen to this.
Well, I think that is the case with regard to a member of parliament, that they can be appointed. But of course, parliament also functions under the constitution of the country, which is the highest law. And if you go and look at what the Constitution says in Article 165, it says the National Assembly has an obligation to make sure that they protect and promote the courts so that the courts are independent, that the dignity of the courts are protected, that the courts are effective. And if you look at this situation where somebody that has been found unfit to be a judge will now sit on a panel and decide which aspiring judges are fit to be a judge. That cannot be. That affects the integrity of the court negatively. So in this case, the Constitution as the highest law should get preference, and therefore Judge Dr. Hlophe should not be appointed. It does not mean that anybody is silenced. MK would be welcome to appoint somebody else that is somebody that has not been found to be unfit, that has not been found to be dishonest, and that has not made themselves guilty of gross misconduct as a judicial officer. I don't think there are any legal hurdles for him to become a member of parliament. But the question is, of course, but that is a subjective view of mine. It's not a legal view. I think we want the best people to be in parliament, also people from varying views. But you need people in parliament with integrity. But there's no measure for that. There are no rules for that. But that is only something we can hope for. But there's, of course, Dr. Hlophe is a member of parliament. We respect that. There's nothing we can do about it. But at least we can make an objection to say he should not be in a position where he assesses other people that want to be judges. Yeah. Well, I think there are different routes that can be taken. We did not coordinate with Freedom Under Law, so I don't know specifically what their arguments are. But there are two routes, and we contemplated both. One is going to the High Court, or the other one is going directly to the Constitutional Court. We decided on going directly to the Constitutional Court, saying that we believe they have exclusive discretion in this regard. We also think that they are the people that should be able to decide. But the most important thing is this is urgent, because the JSC sits again in October, and the JSC will have interviews for appointing the judge president in the Western Cape. And, you know, to have somebody like Dr. Hlophe sit on that panel while he has to appoint somebody in a position where he was kicked out. And one of the candidates, Judge Hlophe, we know that from Dr. Hlophe's side, there's a lot of animosity towards Judge Hlophe. So that process won't be fair. That's why we went this route. If we are not successful, well, then it's great that Freedom Under Law started from the High Court, if we don't get direct access, because this needs to become, this case needs to be before the courts. And I think both routes are covered now. They had 10 days to respond. We served the Speaker of the National Assembly, because they are the first respondents. It's the National Assembly that has an obligation to protect the courts, and it's the National Assembly that decided to put Dr. Hlophe in this position. But then, of course, the other affected parties are Dr. Hlophe himself and the MK party. So we have not received any feedback from those three parties. Yeah. Message, because we must remember all of us are negatively affected, even supporters of the EFF, supporters of the ANC, supporters of the MK party, because all of us would want to know, if you go to a court, you would have a judge that serves without fear, favor, or prejudice, a judge that will be objective as far as possible, as far as humanly possible. And if we're going to break that system down, all of us would suffer, because we might at some stage, all of us have to be before a judge, and we need to have the assurance. So it's unfortunate. We think they're acting against the interests of even their own supporters. Let me just say, we are a watchdog organization. And if we are busy like this, it's actually unfortunate, because it means that there is a lot of corruption and injustice going on. Why we focused on specifically Mr. Malema is that it seems as if there is a reluctance by the National Prosecuting Authority to act against him. And why we say this is that we know of the on-point corruption scandal, where Mr. Malema, there was allegations made against him where he was implicated. And initially, the NPA started to prosecute him, but when one of his co-accused got sick, when the matter was withdrawn, and when it was taken up again, Mr. Malema was not included. We believe in equality before the law, and if there is a reluctance, we'll have to intervene. With regard to the other people, of course, they should be held accountable. And if we see that there's also a reluctance from the NPA to prosecute them, we will also intervene in those matters.
Yeah, are you?
That was Kali Kriel, the CEO of Afriforum. What I want to know is, why are these organizations threatened by Dr. Hlophe being in the JSC? I mean, nothing in the law prohibits this. Well, let's see how they spin this one off. Anyways, that's all from us today. Just a reminder to you at home to please press that subscribe button, like this video, and share the video link with your friends and family. This is Luanda Tsikedi, signing out.